As-Salaam Alaikum and welcome to another fantastic episode of the Rise Magazine podcast. This is the visual and audible representation of the baddest magazine on the planet Earth, as I say every single episode, smashing records all over the planet Earth, none other than Rise Magazine itself, helping you to rise to the peak of greatness and be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. So, as we go into today's program, as always, we have got to open up in prayer, calling on the God, because everything we talk about on the Rise Magazine podcast is an important topic. And like we said, it's going to help you rise to the peak of greatness. So we've got to open up in prayer before we go any further. So with that being said, please assume whatever position of prayer you find most comfortable, and we pray. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, Master of this day of judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we worship, and thine aid do we seek. O Allah, guide us on the right path, the path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed thy favors, and not the path upon whom thy wrath has been brought down, nor those who go astray. Ameen. All praise due to Allah. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, I witness that there is no God but Allah. Muhammad is his messenger. I greet you all, beautiful audience listeners, in the greeting words of peace of As-Salaam Alaikum. My name is Brother Hashim, and I will be helping to moderate this absolutely fantastic discussion we are going to be having today. Of course, we send greetings on behalf of the founder, CEO of Rise Magazine and Rise Magazine Podcast, Student Regional Minister Abdul Sharrieff Muhammad. This was his vision, and it has been absolutely beautiful and a pleasure to work with the man. So today we have an absolutely wonderful program set out for you today. We have our wonderful sister Anissa, who writes for the Final Call and is also the Southern Regional Representative for the Ministry of Information. So kind of a big wig coming down to fellowship and talk with your brothers and sisters here at the Rise Magazine podcast. Our wonderful sister, part of the team, Sister Anissa. So, Sister Anissa, if you can go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about what you do, and we'll go from there. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, sir. As-Salaam Alaikum. As introduced, Sister Anissa, I'm a contributing writer to the Final Call newspaper, also head of the Ministry of Information in the Southern region, and a lot of other stuff related to writing. So that's basically everything.
All praise due to Allah. Thank you so much, Sister Anissa, for joining us today. And with that, we're going to go ahead and jump straight into it with the questions. So, Brother Muqaddim, I believe you have our first question for the evening.
Yes, so I do. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. And now for the first question of the show for Sister Anissa Muhammad. In your walk, in your ministry, what challenges have you faced and how did you overcome them?
Yes, sir. I think really the main challenge is just the participation effort. And I know that in general, the 9 ministries or really any project that anyone is working on or any event, that's always getting people to actually do the work and be a part. And so, we are working to try to help facilitate or better facilitate that, I guess, spirit and work ethic of, just the members of the Ministry of Information. I think, that's just the main challenge. We don't really have any major problems or challenges that we've come across yet. So praise be to Allah. That's a blessing.
Praise be to Allah.
Yes, ma'am. All praise be to Allah.
Yes, ma'am. And if we did, we wouldn't tell you. Now I'm just playing. All right. So, Sister Anissa, and just to go a little deeper into that, tell us about the Ministry of Information and its purpose and what it is. Because Brother Muqaddim asked you some of the challenges you face, but challenges doing what? What are you trying to accomplish? Tell us what the Ministry of Information is.
Yes. And so, from the definition given by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and it can be found on NOI.org on the 9 Ministries page. The Ministry of Information is the central agency which provides services that includes the development of all sources for informing the public of the policies, plans, and strategies necessary for the free flow of information and the accessibility of information essential to an informed citizenry and empowered citizenry. This includes the collection of this includes collection, research, and dissemination of current events, history analysis, the publication of books, pamphlets, magazines, the use of the internet and social media, and it also includes the management and establishment of an office of media affairs and press secretary. There's also a component that corresponds to the development of information systems and networks to secure internal and external communications, media program development and management and establishment, or like I already read that part, yeah, Office of Media and Press Secretary. So really to sum that all up, because that's really just a block of information itself, the Ministry of Information is really just designed to make sure that the public is educated. That's really to make sure people are educated, make sure people have not only information but correct information as we are in this period of where some people say fake news and all of this. You know, there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there on the internet about different stuff. So really just making sure people have access to good quality, correct information.
Praise. And I got one more. I know don't leave it like that, Brother Nukin. I got one more, and then I'm gonna get turned right back over to you, Brother Mukdeen. But and as you're talking about Ministry of Information and what it is, and we know that you're a writer and a poet, among other things. Tell us, firstly, how you got involved with the Ministry of Information, which I already know, but for the audience, and also why you picked, why the Ministry of Information? What about it resonated with you?
Well, I was commissioned by Southern Regional Student Minister Abdul Sharrieff Muhammad to be the head of the Ministry of Information. Before that, I was already working with headquarters National Ministry of Information. I still am. So I was already like a part of the Ministry of Information. Just he made of the Ministry of Information in the Southern Region. Sorry about that. That was related to an article I'm working on because journalism doesn't stop. So yeah, Minister Sharrieff made me the head of the Ministry of Information in the Southern Region. And I guess what resonates with me is just, it's literally my job. So like, I don't know how to better explain it. Like working for the final, like it's literally my job to get information out there to the public. So yes, sir.
Okay, praise be to Allah. Beautiful answer. All right, Brother Mukdeen.
Okay, yes, so I did want to just add a little bit of history to this question. So Sister Nisa is actually kind of the reason I'm in the 9 ministries and the ministry that I'm in, because she contacted my mother about it. So that got me involved ever since then. And I know that, yes, ma'am, all praise to Allah. And I know you have a newsletter actually about it's the Ministry of Information newsletter, and I think that was a really good idea. And I just had a question about how you kind of got that set up and how the success of it has been, and basically the process of that.
Yes, sir. So really, the idea behind the newsletter didn't actually come from the Ministry of Information. It came from one of the sisters in one of the other ministries. I believe she's in the Ministry of Health, but in our collective 9 ministries group calls, she pitched the idea that, hey, we need a newsletter so all of us are informed. So being head of the Ministry of Information, it's like that, let's create one. So that's really how the idea of the newsletter got started. And then we just went to work, created it. It's very simple process. I already had an account to a newsletter program that would allow us to really just collect those contacts and send it out to people. And so, also for anyone who's listening, if you want to subscribe to the newsletter, you can go to our Instagram page, sr.ministry of information, and on that page is the link to this website that you see on the screen where you can subscribe to the Nine Ministries Information Center. And basically, we just send out information on what's going on with the Nine Ministries in the South. Like if there's events being held, or just we also post, we also send out informational posts by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that just coincide with the Nine Ministries, and so you can check it out. That's the latest email that we sent out. And the quote we included was about education. That's one of the Nine Ministries. And so really, just go subscribe and just be informed. That's really just our goal, is to keep people informed on what's happening in the Nine Ministries.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Anissa.
Beautiful, very beautiful project and wonderful question, Brother Mukaddin. Thank you for asking that. As we move a little further, Sister Nisa, I know you've probably been working with Minister Sharrieff now. What was it? I would say, like with him in this, 2 years or so, something around there?
That sounds about right.
Okay. So just tell us a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your experience working with Minister Sharrieff and what type of man he is and how it's been, and if you've grown in any way, and just, have you seen changes in yourself as you work with him, things you've learned, things you've picked up? Just tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, sir. I've enjoyed working with Minister Sharrieff. He's in and of himself a walking a personification of some of the history of the Nation of Islam. I know he was involved with the Dope Busters back in I don't have to correct dates, and I don't like to give information without it being readily available to me, but he was involved with the Dope Busters program, and I know he's shared some information with us on that experience, and really just, I guess, some of the experiences he's had, the knowledge that he's gained over the years from working under the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He's shared information with us about the baby planes or wheels that he's, experienced or saw overseas with his travels with the minister. And so hearing some of that history from a credible firsthand source is really, invaluable to me. So I think that's really what I've gained from, I guess, from me just taking away, some of the history, knowledge, information that he's shared with us over this period of time. So yeah, I enjoy just being in his presence. He's very humble, I will say, like very humble and soft spoken a little bit. But of course, if you get on his bad side, then that's a different story. But I have the fortunate grace to not have been on his bad side, so praise be to Allah. But yeah, I always enjoy being in his presence.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful testimony. And one more, Brother Mukaddin, before I turn over to you, because I know you got some. Just tell us a little bit. You've already went into some of the wonderful projects that you're working on with the Ministry Information, but just tell us, what is your goal? Like, what are some of the goals you have for the Ministry Information? What are some things you hope to accomplish, within the next, I guess, months to a year or whatever time frame? But just tell us some of the goals and some of the things that you hope to accomplish with the Ministry Information.
Yes, sir. Really, so one goal is to grow the newsletter subscriber list. So we're still working on growing and evolving that. Let's see. Of course, growing in general, as the like there's no point in sending information out to nobody. So just growing our follower list in general. One of our goals we set for this year in particular was to at least reach 500 followers on Instagram, and we have about 300 the last time I checked, I believe. So we're steadily growing and evolving as a ministry. Let me see. I had the goals written down somewhere, but I can't find it. But yeah, growing in subscribers, growing in followers, and really just, we have a few events on the agenda that we can sort of look into as we grow and expand. So I really want us to start doing different things in that regard, and some of those things include a possible NOI virtual publishers convention, inviting some of the bloggers, magazine editors, newspaper editors in the nation, just beating them all together on one platform and just piquing their minds a little bit. Another event I was thinking about us doing is a virtual panel discussion on the proper way to spread information because there's a lot, and I kind of said earlier, there's a lot out there, and there's a lot of people not spreading information properly, or spreading false information, or spreading just, yeah, like I said, false information, stuff that isn't true, but you putting it out there, now people think it's true, and then they go off of that. So the proper way to spread information, and yeah, we also want to just utilize our Instagram page to start really just spreading awareness and testimonials about the Nation of Islam, because at the end of the day, that's our foundation. And that's pretty much everything. Yeah, that's pretty much our goals for now. So, yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful. And grace and mercy Allah will meet all of them. So, Brother Mukadim, turn it over to you. Take us a little further. What you got?
Yes, so all praise be to Allah. So this is a more personal question relating to you, Sister Anissa. And it's about what got you interested in writing in general. Like, I know you do some writing for the Final Call and doing the Ministry of Information. I enjoy writing as well, so I just wondered what got you into writing.
Yes, sir. It's a long story. Well, I started writing as a hobby in like 6th grade, so that's why it's been a lot of years since then. But I started writing as a hobby in 6th grade. Started writing fiction. I call it my first love, still a love. Haven't been writing as much fiction, but that's how I started in the writing process. So I started writing fiction, and then I eventually delved into poetry. The first poem I wrote, I deleted it because it was horrible, but I eventually came back to it. So yeah, then I evolved in the poetry field, and I started writing for the Final Call in 2013. And there was a lot happening in 2013. That's when Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan started the Time and What Must Be Done series. For those who don't know what that is, you can go to, I believe it's still on NOI.org/the time, or you can go to YouTube. It's a very important, monumental series about everything happening in the world today, even though the message was given in 2013, 2014, but still very important. So he launched that in 2013. I joined the Farrakhan Twitter army because of the Time and What Must Be Done series. So tweeting the Minister Louis Farrakhan's message out, and then later, months after I joined the Farrakhan Twitter army, that's when I started writing for the Final Call. They had a You Speak section, which I believe they've been steadily bringing back now. But they had a You Speak section that I started submitting articles to every week or so. So yes, sir. That's pretty much the overview of how I started this journey in writing.
Yes, ma'am. Always is color.
Praise. Beautiful, beautiful. And
And
that's oh, go ahead, Bermuda. You got another one? Go ahead.
yeah, I have another one, so I'll go ahead and take the mic for now. But I had another question, and it is, what do you think? Like, since you're in the Ministry of Information, and getting the truth out is important, what do you think is the best way to combat the lies that are out there, like through media and stuff like that?
Yes, sir. What specific lies? Just the context. That's one of the points on how to properly spread information online. That if we ever do that discussion, context is important. So,
Yes,
um, yes, sir.
well, I guess that could relate to whether it's about COVID-19 or things
Mm,
related to the minister, like defending the minister.
yes, sir. And the question was how to combat those lies.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. So, well, personally, how I've dealt with, because there's a lot out there about the minister and nation in general. The minister is anti-Semitic. The minister is sexist. The minister is homophobic. All of this, just blatant lies that have been spread about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, which I want to clear up. If you have those misconceptions in your mind, the minister is not anti-Semitic, sexist, homophobic, a bigot, or any of those things that you might be thinking. Um, but really, to combat those lies, you have to just present the truth. Like, this is what the minister is doing for women. This is what he says about women. This is, his stance on women and girls. This is his stance on sexist men who are actually sexist. The minister said that sexism is one of the four great impediments to self-development. So that's definitely that's one of the things that he's actively working against. So to categorize him as that, me being a woman in the Nation of Islam, just presenting the truth. Also, I would say that our examples as Muslims in the nation that's the greatest presentation of what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan represents. We're not hateful people. We don't, go out bombing, gunning down. We're taught not to carry weapons. So just being an example of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We've also, of course, written, or I posted articles written from various people about, how the minister is not anti-Semitic. And to find those articles written by Nzinga Muhammad, you can go to joshuastruth.com and search Defending Farrakhan, and you will find how we've been combating some of those lies. As I mentioned, I've been a part of the Farrakhan Twitter army, so you know that's a whole history in and of itself. Just combating the lies on social media and going back and forth with people. I've sort of calmed down from that a bit now, but just when you see something, stand up and just present the facts, present the truth. The best way to represent the minister, like I said, being an example, giving people his actual words and the context of his video. That's why context is important again. The context of his videos and his message, so that people don't take his words out of context. So I hope that answered the question. I felt like I was rambling, but
No, ma'am. That was good. Yes, ma'am. That answered my question. Thank you.
yes, sir.
Beautiful. You got any more, Brother Mugdeen, before I take it on?
You could go ahead.
Okay. So you I'm actually glad you mentioned that too, Sister Nisa, because that is that's really, that context is important. A lot of people don't, think about it, but that context is important because that's really how they attack Minister Lot, by just chopping up the video and taking the one thing and sending it out. So that is definitely important. You talked a lot, of course, since we're dealing with information, of disseminating information and things of that nature. But I know you're also disseminating information in another way with a group called the Rings, seven rings, or something of that nature. You tell us a little
Yes.
bit about that and what that is and what you all are doing.
Right. So the Seven Rings. Well, first you can anyone listening, you can check out our IG page at the number 7 rings 1930. But it's basically spreading information about, like I said, how the minister isn't sexist, but it's mainly an educational page built by us, Nation of Islam, MGT Vanguard. There's 7 of us, so 7. But we were, I mean, basically just me and my friends who noticed the pattern of sexism and misogyny in society, and also just as Black Muslim women, not just sexism but also racism. So just to combat some of those isms to self-development that we've seen in society, and to also spread the truth of women in the Nation of Islam, to expose people to women in the Nation of Islam. Like, we exist. We're not we're not behind any, like, we're out here, we exist. And to also, like I said, just to show people Down Minister Louis Farrakhan in the Nation of Islam is not sexist. Like, this is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said about women. This is what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said about women. This is what Minister Ishmael and Student Minister Dr. Abel Muhammad, who's the spokesperson of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, say about women. These are, this is who Mother Tynetta is. This is who Mother Khadijah is. Like, this is who Mother Clara is. These are the roles that women have played in the Nation of Islam. The being power was created by a sister. So just spreading some of that information, and just, letting people know, like, we exist, and we're not sexist. We're here. Yeah.
Praise be to Allah. And then even, yourself and some of those who work with Minister Sharrieff, the utilization, you yourself as a young Black woman, commissioned to be the head of Ministry of Information here in the South. So that's an example right there, just all throughout the Nation of Islam of it. But just, in closing, as we have, because really it's been absolutely amazing. I've really enjoyed the discussion. Just any, closing comments on your part about the Ministry of Information, about the work you do, about working in the Southern region, final call writing, whatever it is, just closing comments from you as we go ahead. And
well, first, I guess I want to thank Student Minister Sharrieff Muhammad for allowing me to serve in this capacity. And I know, this show is under his banner. So for even just presenting information via shows like this, the Rise Magazine podcast, and the other podcasts coming out of the South. So thank him first for all of the work that he's been doing, and for allowing me to serve in this capacity. For more information about the Ministry of Information, or, if you need to contact us or anything, you can email us at sr.ministryofinformation@gmail.com. Like I mentioned the IG earlier, you can message us on Instagram at sr.ministryofinformation. So it's all sr.ministry of information, which of course stands for Southern Region Ministry of Information. And that's really about it. Go subscribe to our newsletter. Again, you can find that link on our Instagram page, sr.ministry of information, and you'll see the link to subscribe to the newsletter to stay informed and updated. So, yes, that's about it.
Sweet to Allah. Thank you so much for you have something, Brother Mugdin?
Oh, I was just saying all praise to Allah. And a quick note, I'm subscribed.
Good.
Yeah.
Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. Good. And if you're not subscribed out there watching, go subscribe. You know, put it back up, Brother Costa, so that they can see, the where to go subscribe. You put the website back up so they can look at that. Okay, whenever we get it. All right, but praise be to Allah. Whenever we go, there it is, right there. Yeah, they're right there. That's the newsletter right there. If you can put the info for them to go ahead and they have to type in to subscribe. Can you say it again, Sister Nisa? What was it?
The link to the newsletter.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Yeah, you can go to our Instagram page, sr.ministry of information, and you'll get beautiful emails that look like this with flyers and quotes and just what's going on in the Southern Region 9 ministries.
Praise be to
It's really
Allah.
short too. Like you don't it's not a whole long thing you have to consume. It's very short and to the point. So
All praise due to Allah. So again, thank you so much, Sister Nisa, for sharing some of your precious time with us. Because I know you're busy. Even as you were on here, you were getting calls, about this article, that article, or whatever's going on. So we appreciate you giving us coming to spend some time with your brothers and sisters today. So for all those wonderful audience listeners, we appreciate you all for coming on. Don't forget to go to www.risemagazineco.com so you can get your very own copy of Rise Magazine. You can all the things that you're seeing here on the Rise Magazine podcast is interviews with Sister Nisa, with some of these ministers and all this across the Nation of Islam. It's all jam-packed into these amazing magazines. So you have got to go and get your new Rise Magazine. That's the latest issue right there. If you don't have Rise Magazine, you don't got nothing. You're not rising to the peak of greatness. You got to get you a Rise Magazine. You got to get it now. So go to www.risemagazineco.com and get Rise Magazine. Also, don't forget, you have to go to www.abdulsharrieff.com and get all of the wonderful books by our beloved student regional minister, Abdul Sharrieff Muhammad. That's www.abdulsharrieff.com. You got A Soldier in the Movement of Christ. You got Down Is Not Out. You got Islam is Farrakhan, Divinely Guided and Connected to the Will. You have all these amazing, wonderful books that if you have not read, again, we don't know what you're doing. If you haven't read these books, you got to read them now. So that's www.abdulsharrieff.com. Also, don't forget, we love your support. We appreciate your support. We thank you for viewing. But we also need some financial support. So go ahead and support us. Go to $Rise Magazine. Again, that's $Rise Magazine on Cash App. Send us whatever you have on your heart to give. It does not matter what it is, from 50 cents to 50,000. Doesn't matter what it is. Send us a little something. We're your brothers. We love you. We appreciate you. So with that, Brother Mukaddin, you got anything?
No, so this has been a wonderful broadcast.
All praise to Allah. It really has been. Again, thank you again, Sister Nisa. And of course, thank you to our wonderful regional. So with that, we're going to go ahead and close out. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We appreciate you. We love you. We're going to go ahead and close out in prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. Master of this day of judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do worship, and thine aid do we seek. O Allah, guide us on the right path, the path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed thy favors, and not the path upon whom thy wrath has been brought down, nor those who go astray after thy teachings. Ameen. As-Salaam Alaikum.